Welcome back. Let's see if we can get finished up in this video. If it takes one more, it takes one more. So where are we? Hitler is gobbling up Europe. He's taking small sections of countries. He's claiming, oh, I need this place because they mostly speak German, or they used to be German, or they border Germany. A variety of excuses. Chamberlain goes over, thinks he's got an agreement with him. Hitler violates it within 6 months. We, the United States, are still neutral. The big kind of eye-opening act for most countries came when Germany invaded Poland. Poland is a sovereign nation. They don't want to join. They're not historically part of Germany. And it is a bloody, bloody battle. The Polish are a small population, but they are determined not to give in. Unfortunately, they're outmanned, they're outgunned, they're outnumbered. Um, so we have new neutrality acts, the Neutrality Acts of 39. It said we will only sell to democracies. Now, follow our path. First, we're selling to nobody. Then we'll sell to anybody but cash and carry. Then, well, we don't really mean that. We'll only sell to democracies cash and carry. They must pay in cash and pick up their goods. But then it changes a little more later. Um, there are several groups in America that are worried about where the United States is headed. One is the Committee to Defend America. They favor aid to other countries. They want to intervene with the theory that if we can stop it over there, it doesn't get over here. Then there's the America First Committee. Isolationists, Charles Lindbergh among them, the guy first to fly solo across the Atlantic, who also turned out to be a Nazi sympathizer, but that's another story. He says, no, 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 no. We stay here in our country, take care of ourselves first. And if everybody else goes down, we learn to deal with it. And we will exist on our own. There's a show a lot of you watch called The Man in the High Castle that supposes a different end to this war. So it's called a reimagining of history or things like that. I think Lindbergh would have been okay with that. That um, there's a part of the U.S. that's run by Germany. Anyway, FDR gives his speech called The Arsenal of Democracy. It says that part of our arsenal is our allies. That these people who are already embroiled, already involved, are a way to save ourselves. We can make the arsenal, we can make the weapons provided to our friends, and they will fight for us. We're their supply room, so to speak. It makes sense, except this is just at this point, it's really gotten too big, and which is easy to recognize in hindsight. Okay, we're not going to sell to anybody. We'll sell to anybody but cash and carry. We'll only sell to democracies but cash and carry. Now it's lend lease. Um, it drastically increases the U.S. involvement in World War II. What it says is we will lend you materials if you're a good guy. Who decides that? Congress, the president, whatever. Specifically, if you are a democracy and/or an ally. And FDR uses the example of if your neighbor's house is on fire and he needs your garden hose to save it, won't you let him take your hose? He'll bring it back. It's a super simplistic example. And we knew we weren't getting ships and tanks and airplanes back, but it's a way we could say we were lending them, letting them borrow, or leasing them, letting them rent things until later. Um, we decided also, instead of making our allies or friends come all the way over here to pick stuff up, we would meet in Iceland and do a handoff. We are not at war, but we kind of are. Our naval ships, our cargo ships, well, first our cargo ships are getting shot at by the Germans. They're even getting sunk. Um, then they're accompanied in convoys by military ships. And our guys on our ships have a shoot on sight order. We're not to go look for Germans. We're not going to pursue them. But if we see them, we are to shoot on sight. Eventually, we equipped even our cargo ships with weapons. Okay, the Atlantic Charter. I love this because A, I'm a dork, and B, two world leaders snuck away, not just from their jobs, but their countries, and met up in secret. Now, everybody knows about it later, but Churchill comes to Newfoundland, Canada, East Coast. FDR, I love this. FDR has a presidential yacht, which now would not be feasible because somebody would blow it up. His presidential yacht, and when it's the flag above it is flying, that means the president's on board, like the Queen does at the castle. So the news reports announce that the president is gone for a quick saltwater vacation to escape the stresses of what's going on. And you see his ship, his yacht, going down the Potomac, flag waving. People are on the bags. Hey, there's President Trump. Pick a sign. He's not even on the ship. The Navy has taken him to Newfoundland, about what, 300 miles away, to meet with Winston Churchill, who is now Prime Minister of Great Britain. They come up with what is later called the Atlantic Charter. Churchill is there to woo, maybe not romantically, but to get him involved with him, FDR. He's like, oh, Franklin, don't you want to help us? Come on, Franklin, we're wonderful. And he does it through private lunches, through heart-to-heart talks, and knowing that FDR grew up in a slightly, not overly, but slightly religious home. He went to um, a boys' school run by a church. He has the military band on board the ships play like Amazing Grace and Onward Christian Soldiers and things like that that really do kind of reach out to FDR's emotions. Now, this is the first meeting between them, although the two have been writing letters for forever and keep doing so. They outline their goals. In other words, when this war is over, here's what we want. We want every nation to be able to determine who runs it and how it is run, what type of government they have. We want to lower trade barriers, tariffs. We want economic cooperation. And then there's the issue with Japan. This is still, in the 30s. And in particular, in 1937, Japan attacks a U.S. ship. They later say, oh, we didn't know. We're so very, very sorry. Isolationists in the U.S. are like, take them at their word. They said they were sorry. They were willing to pay for it. They wrote a note on their stationery, whatever. But FDR, remember, he's fifth cousins with TR, and he idolizes Theodore Roosevelt. He remembers what what TR said about one day Japan will be strong enough to launch an attack that we may not be able to counter. So that's where we are kind of right now. FDR is a little leery. We freeze their assets. A lot of people are like, well, they attacked us out of the blue in December of 41. No, we quit selling stuff for them that could be used for war. Then we freeze everything they've got in a bank. We don't even let them sell properties they may have in the United States. We institute an embargo. We're not going to sell things to them. They're going to have to look elsewhere. And then December 7th, 1941, we had word that the Japanese were going to possibly attack a target in the Pacific. We did not think it would be us. We thought it would be Dutch, who the Germans are already kind of at war with. We thought it might be the British, same. We did not think it would be us. We had sent a lot of our Navy there to keep them safe. And then we have Pearl Harbor, a day which will live in infamy. We declared war on them 2 days later. We did not declare war on Germany and Japan until they declared war on us. FDR had promised the United States that he was not going to get us into war. He did not make the first move with any of these countries. Very, very smart that way. That's the end of the chapter. We will have a question and answer session on Friday. Watch the Babbling for info. Look at the study guides. There is the traditional Adam Norris study guide posted in the unit. There is also questions to get you through the chapter. I would advise looking at John Green. I would advise Gilder Lerman. You know all the stuff I would advise. Anyway, stay tuned for day and time of our Zoom question and answer sessions. See you soon.